Now a while back, if you remember, Ben from Ben's Garage and I did a little bit of a collaboration where we both sat in our Range Rovers, we called each other over the car phones, and we asked some questions to each other that had been sent in by you guys, the viewers. This time though, there's a little bit of a twist. As you guys will see, I'm not sat in my Range Rover, I don't think Ben's sat in his either, and we've actually sent each other a couple of parcels. So Ben sent me this parcel here, and I sent him one in return. So along with this package, Ben also sent me over a bit of a video to watch, so let's take a quick look at that and see what he's got to say.
Hi Sam, I've sent you a little package, bit of a surprise, there's a few things in there. Obviously we're doing this collaboration and I thought I'd send you a little something to open up on camera in front of all your fans. So I will have a few questions for you and I'll check back and see what you think to the inside of the box.
So there we go, let's crack it open and see what Ben sent. Okay, so first thing we've got here is a letter. And it says, "Dear Sam, I thought I'd send you a little package all the way from sunny France. A couple of items for you to test. First up is the Think Diag 2 OBD scan tool, very nice. I was quite impressed with it when I reviewed it, let us all know what you think. Now I actually remember this review that Ben did, I watched this one on his channel and I too was actually really impressed by this tool, the Think Diag 2. So I'll be really interested to test that out. I seem to have OBD2 tools coming out my ears at the moment. I get sent them quite a lot by different companies to test. So maybe we can put it up for a challenge against some other products to test. Secondly, I've thrown in one of our hot relishes. This one has been made with our homegrown Naga Viber chilies. I quite like this one and I dare you to try it on camera. Well, you might see Ben, I've actually got some crackers and some cheese and a little knife here ready to go because you kind of alluded that might be some of this in the package before you sent it over, so I'm ready to go and I'm not going to chicken out. So those of you that don't know, one of the things that Ben and Tina, that's the Hobbit for people that watch Ben's channel, do on their farm is they grow chilies. So they have a big polytunnel full of chilies and they make all kinds of lovely chutneys and spicy things basically. And that's why one of Ben's channels is actually called the Mad Dog Chili Farm, as you guys might see on that sticker there, which is pretty cool sticker they've got there. So the stuff Ben sent me here will have been made by him and Tina on their farm, which is pretty awesome. I've also thrown in some of our hot chili powders. These are all grown at home and then made into powder by our very own resident Hobbit. She was wearing a gas mask at the time of operation, but regardless of that, she still suffered quite a bit. Oh, that bodes well then, doesn't it? So there's a lot of love that's gone into the production of these powders. Hopefully you don't suffer too much with the after effects of all this hot stuff. Well, I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan of spicy foods, but we're going to suffer through it, and I've got some cheese and some beer here. Hopefully that's going to cool things down a bit if it gets a little bit too much. So the first thing I'm seeing here, this box looks like the Think Diag 2, which it is. Very nice. Really going to look forward to testing this out. From what I saw, as I said on Ben's review, this was a really amazingly powerful product. Powerful OBD2 tool for considering how much it costs, or how little it costs rather. So yeah, very happy to receive that. Cheers, Ben. And I'm going to have to sit up a bit here so we can see what's going on. So, we've got all kinds of stuff going on here. We've got some stickers. There we go, so there's a sticker for the Range Rover there. That'll go in the window. Ben's Garage sticker. I'm sure you can buy this on Ben's website if you so wish. Got another Ben's Garage sticker, so that can go on the Missus's car, or the P38, I guess. Lovely. Got a couple of Mad Dog Chili Farm stickers there. They're really cool with the dogs on there as well. That's awesome. And a couple of Ben's Garage badges as well, so we can really look the part. Everyone will know we're true Ben's Garage fans now with all this gear. So cheers, Ben. So we seem to have another little note here, handwritten by Ben. Also included some headlight protection wipes. That must be what these are. Sonax headlight coating, very nice indeed. If you guys watched my recent car detailing video on the L322, you'll know the headlights are one of the only things I didn't put a coating of some kind on, so yeah, very nice indeed. Plus, a couple of bottles of hot sauce. Try it on camera, I dare you to. Well, definitely going to be giving it a go. Don't know how much of it I'm going to be eating, but I'm going to be giving it a go. So these ominous looking red bags, I'm guessing, are going to be the hot powders that Ben's talking about. So this one we've got hot mixed Scotch bonnet habanero, that sounds hot, and Adji lemon powder, hot is the description on this one. So yeah, not sure what on earth we're going to do with this, but we'll definitely give it a go at some point. Maybe we'll put it in some curry that we're going to cook or something like that when we really want to blow our heads off. We got one more as well. Super hot Reaper boot jolokia. No idea what that means. Again, sounds really hot and it's probably something that you shouldn't be eating, but there you go. I've also got some instructions here for the Isonax headlight wipes, so happy days. Okay, so this must be getting into the chili sauces and chutneys and stuff that we've been talking about. So there we go, this looks awesome. Viper Relish, the Mad Dog Chili Farm. I'm actually looking forward to trying a bit of that. I'll show you guys the bottle there, hopefully it focuses, and the cool logo on the top there. That's awesome. I'm going to put these at the front so you guys can see them. Viper Relish. This one, Viperous Pumpkin Hot Sauce. Pumpkin, carrot, tomato, Naga Viper, honey, mustard, sugar, apple cider, vinegar, red wine vinegar, water, Worcestershire sauce. That's cool. I'm loving all these custom labels as well that Ben's and Tina have come up with. Viperous Pumpkin, that looks evil. We got one more. Nitro Naga. Hot Chilli Sauce, Jesus. I'm not sure whether that's the name of the product or what's going to be happening at the other end after I've eaten a bit of it, but Nitro Naga, yeah, for sure. Sounds serious. Again, yeah, loving those labels. Very, very cool. And I think, got one more. Oh, we got a fridge magnet as well. So yeah, even more Ben's merch. I actually need to get onto making some of this stuff for my my Sam's American Machine merch as well. Let me know, guys, if you'd like to see anything like that. So there we go. We're all kitted out with Ben's Garage merch. Enough hot stuff to last us a lifetime, and we even got the Think Diag 2, sorry, to test out as well. So happy days. What a box that was. So I think what we'll do now is we'll get set up with a bit of Viper Relish, and I've got some just mild cheese here, just some mild bit of cheddar, keeping it nice and simple, so I can enjoy the relish to its maximum. So first one I'm going to try, as I said, is this Viper Relish. Let's crack this open and see what it smells like. It smells pretty good just from on the off. It's got kind of just a tomatoey, peppery, kind of roasted peppery kind of smell to it. I'm sure that's just deceiving as to how hot it actually is. So let's get ourselves set up with a bit of cheese and a cracker. And dip in. I'm actually looking forward to this one. Give it a bit of a mix because it's been sat in the box for a while. So, do you reckon, Ben, is that being safe, or is that being foolhardy? Let's chuck a bit on. Oh shit, I've just spilled some. Down the hatch. So, first impressions, really nice sweet taste actually. It's definitely got some kick, but with the cheddar, not too bad. I can start to feel it heating up a bit now actually, now that I've got some air in my mouth. That is actually bloody lovely. I'm going to have a bit more. Let's go for round two. That's actually really addictive, that taste. I'm going to go for a big blob on there like that. So that looks gorgeous. That's really, really nice. It's really good because it tastes really sweet when you first put it in. And as you chew it and get some air mixed in with your mouth, it really kicks as well. So that's really lovely stuff actually. Gonna want more when this is finished then. But I am gonna crack my beer open just to get a bit of lubrication. Lovely. So Ben's actually sent me excuse me. So Ben's actually sent through a list of questions for us to answer, so let's see what his first question is.
So as I mentioned at the start, I've got some questions for you, Sam. I did put out some requests for questions, but they was all coming back. Someone wanted to know how you did your cartoon face and when are you going to fix the suspension on your Ranger, on your P38, but don't go down the cheap route of doing coils. Well, we all know that you're doing your air suspension and that, so I thought that's not really relevant. So I've got some questions for you. Whether you break this up and put them through your video, I don't know. But now you're filming the P38 series, stroke restoration. Do you have any further plans or modifications to your L322? First question.
So yeah, the L322, now we've got the P38 project on the go as well. And the P38 project, by the way, is moving a lot slower than I thought it would be. It's always the case with these kind of things. Haven't had as much time, the weather's been much worse than I ever kind of really predicted it would be. And we don't have a workshop here, so we are making progress with it, but I think things are going to be a bit slow until the weather gets a bit better. But the question's about the L322. So as you guys will know, basically every episode I've done so far on the L322 has been kind of bringing it back up to spec. So repairing things that have been a bit neglected, improving problems that it's had from high mileage and lots of use. And it's getting to a point now where the car is kind of at a level where it doesn't really need any more of that kind of titivation, if you want to call it that. So recently I've been thinking about the route that I want to go down with the L322 and what route would be best to take it, both for getting the most enjoyment out of the vehicle and also for making good content for you guys. And the conclusion that I've come to is what I want to do with it is kind of make it into a bit of a mild overlander. So as a basis for an overland vehicle, L322 is actually a really good base as a starting vehicle. There's a fantastic channel actually that you guys should watch if you don't already, called Overlanding Forward. We'll put a link either in my video or Ben's video, wherever this video clip ends up, to that channel. But basically, that channel's fantastic because it shows an L322 being built up to overlanding standard, basically from completely stock. And so yeah, that channel's really, really good for showing you what can be done with an L322. So that's my plan. I'm not going to go as extreme as the build that you'll see on Overlanding Forward when you go over there, but it's going to be basically a bare bones, simple, get the job done overlanding truck. And I'm actually basically starting off that build this weekend, in fact, because I'm going to go and pick up the first parts that are going to be used in that build. So yeah, exciting times.
This next question, when you've got your P38 on the road, not necessarily finished, because Land Rover projects are never finished, there's always something to do. When it's all on the road, up and running, as you know, what will be your daily driver? Now, I'm going to exclude your Cummins Defender, because even me, I wouldn't use that as a daily driver, and I'll do some pretty stupid things. But what would be your daily driver, the L322 or the P38?
So that's a pretty interesting question. Now, obviously, in an ideal world, I would have both the L322 and the P38 on the road, taxed, insured, and basically ready for me to hop into and choose whichever one I want at any day of the week. In reality, car tax and insurance, in fact, in Ireland are actually pretty expensive. So having two Range Rovers on the road, taxed and insured at the same time is probably not the most wise thing to do, especially in this current economic climate that we're in. So I think what I'm hoping to do in reality is around April time, the tax and insurance on the L322 is about due to lapse. So hopefully, if the P38 is in any state to be daily driven by that point, which it might be, hopefully if we get some good weather between now and then, I'll be able to crack on with it and get it ready. What I might do is tax and insure the P38 just for a period of like 3-4 months. Maybe you can do it I think you can do it for a quarter in Ireland, so you can do 3 months of the year. just to experience it and just to yeah, make use of all that work that we've done on it, see how I get on with it, and basically, yeah, I think I would love to try and daily drive a P38 and do some real good comparisons between, you know, daily P38 life versus L322 life. So yeah, I think that'd be a good plan. Ultimately though, I'm almost certainly going to be coming back to the L322 as my daily driver, just because it's such an accomplished all-round daily vehicle. It just works really, really well for the kind of stuff that I do. As already mentioned, we've already got the plans for the overlanding stuff to be going on with that as well, so I probably won't keep it off the road for too long. But yeah, that's the plan.
When it comes to P38, have you thought about dropping a different engine in it? Maybe a 3 litre TD6 or any other engine? I did think about getting hold of a P38 over here in France and changing the engine, but it's a little bit more tricky with registration and all that. You know, it's a minefield. If the engine isn't in your car what it says it's supposed to be when it comes time to MOT, and it's just a minefield. So it's not an option here in France. It can be done, but it's. So, have you had any thoughts on putting a different engine in it?
So different engine in the P38 is the question. Have I thought about it? To be honest, yes, I have thought about it. The 2.5 diesel that's in there is renowned for being a bit of a slug, as I've said before. It's 136 horsepower on a good day, and the P38 is all of about 2.25 tons. So it's really not a lot of engine for quite a lot of car. That said though, I am committed to keeping this one standard for now and trying to get it on the road and working as good as it can be in, you know, its original form basically. I did own a P38 diesel, same as this one, 2.5 litre automatic, quite a while back when I was a student at uni. I had one that cost me around £1,000, and compared to the previous Land Rovers that I had at the time, it actually felt quite pokey. So it's all a matter of perspective really. Obviously coming from the 4.4 TDV8, it's going to feel a bit slow in comparison to that, but at the time, compared to my 300 TDI Discoveries that I'd had before that, and old 2.5 TD Defenders, and not even a TDI, the old TD engine, it felt pretty decent, you know. So we'll see how we get on with it, but yeah, ultimately it may end up with a BMW M57 conversion going on. Watch this space.
I remember seeing one of your videos a long time ago, not a long time, but the Mazda MX-5 Turbo project. Whatever happened to it? I appreciate that your channel is probably the same as mine. You get all the hits from the Land Rover content, and if you put something different out there, it just doesn't wash. What happened to it? Have you still got it? Is it still a thing that you're going to be doing? If not, let us know.
So yeah, the old MX-5 project. That's a bit of an awkward one. As you guys may have seen, although you probably didn't because a lot of you didn't watch that video, I put up a video about probably over a year ago now, detailing the project I was planning to do at the time, which was my Mazda MX-5 Turbo build. So at the time I was living with my housemate, who was actually a good mate of mine from back in my school days, and his daily driver that he had at the time was a Mark 1 Mazda MX-5. Now I bought the MX-5 actually before I bought the L322, so before you guys saw that very first video of mine pop up, I bought the cheapest 4.4 TDV L322 in the UK. I'd actually been out and bought a MX-5. Now the reason for that at the time was that coming into a completely unknown L322, which had been bought very cheap at auction, I wanted to have a second car on the road that I could use in the event that I needed to take the L322 off the road to do some repairs, or you know, if it broke down, God forbid. As it turned out, the L322 never broke down and it always got me home, but the MX-5 was sat there ready to go should it have been needed. Now after having the MX-5 for a couple of months, I decided I actually really liked it. I was enjoying driving it around in the good weather, and I decided I was going to do a bit of a project on it. So I bought a turbo, I bought a custom ECU kit that I actually built myself. It was all a good bit of fun, and we were going to go and put a turbo on that MX-5 and take it from its stock power of about 100 horsepower up to around 200 horsepower just with a little turbo. And in a car that's as small and light as an MX-5, as you guys can imagine, they weigh around a ton, 200 brake horsepower would have been really fun. So I'll put that video out on YouTube. I've detailed it all. You guys can go and watch it now actually if you're interested. We'll put a link somewhere. But it wasn't very popular. At the time it only gathered around 2,000 or 3,000 views. Obviously you guys aren't interested in MX-5 content as much as you are Range Rover content, so it just didn't get pushed around by YouTube as much. And obviously while getting views isn't the main goal of doing these projects, I would be doing them anyway if it wasn't for YouTube. It was a bit disheartening to have made that video and people not really show much of an interest in it. I think I only had about 2 or 3 comments on the video or something like that. And with the L322 content doing really well and people obviously wanting to see more of what I was doing to the L322, the MX-5 project kind of took a bit of a back seat. I was still using it every now and again for a bit of fun, but the turboing side of it, I didn't really ever get round to it. As you guys know, I then moved from Warwickshire, where I was based then, over to Ireland, and the logistics of bringing all my cars over here and all my stuff and stuff in the trailer was just a bit too much to handle. So decided to get rid of the MX-5. Kind of regret it a bit now because it would be a project I'd love to actually continue and be something I'd be looking forward to enjoying in the summer. But that's the situation that it was at the time, so yeah, maybe we'll get another one at some point and continue the project. I've still got the turbo and I've still got the ECU, so we can still crack on with it at some point if we get another good car to be a basis for it.
So you claim to be like David Attenborough for Land Rovers. I ask you this question. If you're to go out into the wild with a Land Rover, what would it be? The P38, the L322 or the Cummins Defender? And a little add-on to that question, have you got any road trips planned in the near future and what will you be taking and why, basically?
So all 3 of my vehicles really are pretty well cut out for overland travel of one sort or another. You could set off in a P38 and do some pretty awesome trips. They've been used all over the world for all kinds of huge expeditions, and the same with the 130 as well. The 130, I actually originally bought that truck and started building it with the intention of turning it into my ultimate overland expedition vehicle. Problem is, as I've gotten a bit older, I've kind of started appreciating the comfortable vehicles a bit more, and I can't really see myself driving a Defender, especially with the Cummins engine fitted to it, for any real length of time. However, that's not to say I won't get round to it. It may happen at some point. Although, as I've just mentioned, I'm planning to start kitting the L322 out for some light overlanding and expedition travel. So, in the immediate near future, it's going to be the L322 that we take. As for where we go, we're going to start off in Ireland. We're going to see a lot more of this country. We've not really been too far up north, up into Donegal and Sligo, places like that. And we've also not really been that far down south either, so we could go places like down into Kerry and Cork, places like that. All of this coastline up the west side of Ireland, the wild Atlantic coast, is meant to be absolutely beautiful, and it certainly is in our area, so yeah, we want to see more of that. And I think with that all going well, we definitely want to get a long European trip in at some point, so like a pan-European tour, if you want to call it that. There's a few places in Europe that I want to get to again. I want to get back to Romania again at some point. A few years ago I used to go every year basically to Romania. It's an absolutely stunning place, especially for overland travel. It's a really wild country with lots of untouched nature, so yeah, I'd love to get back there. On a trip like that we might end up crossing over through France. We probably will in fact, so maybe we can stop off at the Mad Dog chili farm as well. So yeah, maybe we'll see if we can squeeze that in this year now that the world of travel and things like that are starting to get back to normal again. The other thing is I occasionally watch back through my old Morocco videos. There's some videos on my channel from 2015. We went with a few different Land Rovers, and I have to say whenever I watch that it does give me a hankering to go back to Morocco again. So that's probably not on the cards for this year, but at some point in the future I'd love to go back to North Africa and do a revisit of that trip.
So that's it for questions. There's 5 questions sort of relevant to your channel that I think some of us want to know. And I hope you enjoyed what's in the box and it doesn't blow your ass out too much. Some of these spicy things do turn some people inside out, but we quite like a bit of heat. I hope you enjoy the automotive products and let us know what you think on those. So, yeah, it's a 2 thumbs up from me. Catch you later.
So that is going to wrap it up for this video, guys. Something a little bit different from the norm, but hopefully you enjoyed it and maybe you had some of your questions answered. Make sure that after you hit the like and subscribe and all that jazz over here, head on over to Ben's channel to watch the second part of this Q&A collab and leave a comment for Ben saying that you came from here. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you again very soon in the next one. Cheers.